happen here in just a second. This is being recorded, so what you see and what you hear is being recorded to be posted after the class is over. And what I'd like to do first is a little assessment, kind of a little poll, not really a quiz or assessment, just a little poll. And if you notice the top here, the m.socrative.com, and then the word RVC below. If you'll go to your web browser like Firefox, Safari, IE, doesn't really matter, and just type in m.socrative.com, it'll ask you for a room number or a room name on the right side, and that name is RVC. And then it should ask you for the name you go by, I believe. And so we'll wait for those to populate. Give everybody a chance to get into the website. Again, m.socrative.com. Put in the room number RVC, hit enter or done there, and then enter in your full name or name you go by. So we'll wait for everyone to get in. We'll get 16 out of 16 here and we'll go forward. And this little tool here we're using, Socrative.com, is just a tool to do live polling and live polls on different types of topics. I try to use it throughout the semester. And let's go to the next question here. Have you ever set up a network LAN, local area network, for a small business? Have you set up a server, routers, switches, clients? And then you'll see the poll here, live poll increase as everybody answers there. And that's good. Most of you have not. That's a great thing. And so you're in the right place. And so this semester you will definitely be learning how to create a LAN, what a LAN is. You'll create instances of users on a server. You'll also play a little bit with clients and routers and learn of the technologies of switches and what that's all about as well this semester. We do have and recommend, I do recommend our Cisco courses when it comes to switches and switch technology and programming switches and learn how they work. So this is a good foundational course. This one and PCT110 both. I recommend taking prior to your Cisco, if you're interested in Cisco. It's a good foundational courses to help you understand terminologies and technologies before taking your Cisco track. It's going to help you a lot. I know some of you are going down that path. Number 3 is, have you set up a LAN, local area network, for your home, like a Wi-Fi network, cable modem maybe, Wi-Fi router for your laptop and computers to connect to at home. So some of you might have done that or dabbled in that, where you've set up your own Wi-Fi network. Maybe you have a Comcast cable and you set up your own Wi-Fi, or you have DSL and you set up your own Wi-Fi. And they come generally with, how-to instructions. So it looks like majority, 94% so far, say yes, you have done that. So that's a good thing. And so we'll even help you with that this semester as far as some ways to make those networks even more secure and how to go through and set those up. And my 130 class goes into more of such things like how those devices are hacked in by hackers and maybe how to secure those as well, and a number of different ways to do it. But this class is going to focus on the networking part of it, the connectivity part of it, We'll also discuss how to secure a Wi-Fi network out of the box as well. Okay, number 4, in your own words, define the function of a LAN, local area network. And again, there is no wrong answer here. Just, wanting to get everybody's kind of understanding of what a local area network is, or a network is, in your own words, what you think it is, how you think it works. And again, no wrong answer. And I am going to keep these answers hidden. This is for my eyes only. So you'll see a whole bunch of dots across the page there on the overhead. But I want to see these myself, so just to kind of see where everybody's coming from. Because it's important when you're, as a teacher anyway, to know kind of what everybody's aptitude is coming in, where you're at, where you're from, technology-wise, and what needs you might have, and that way we can tailor the whole semester to meet those needs. And so it's a good thing. And so again, in your own words, define the function of a LAN. Let it sit there for a few more moments. No wrong answer here. And you'll learn a book definition of a LAN this semester. In fact, chapter 1 goes into it, and then also goes into the basic functionalities of a LAN. And then next Thursday, after our discussion, we actually design a local area network with servers and clients and switches and routers and printers, and talk about how all that's done in a diagram format on a whiteboard. So good stuff. Number 5. What do you think a peer-to-peer network is? What do you think a peer-to-peer network is? And again, I'm going to keep these answers hidden on the overhead. And you'll learn what a peer-to-peer network is this semester. In fact, we'll start talking about it next week. And how to set one up, what the functionality of a peer-to-peer is, cabling used for peer-to-peer, Wi-Fi that can be used for peer-to-peer, and the history of peer-to-peer, where it started from and where it's at today and where it's going. What do you think a LAN network is? What do you think a LAN network is? And just whatever your best educated guess is on this one is great. Alright, so I'm still coming in, but it'll eventually update here, so I'm going to go next. Are you interested in an internship? Now, I'm going to pass out right now a card for our division that has in it a website at the very bottom. And while you're thinking about this, before you answer your question here on the screen, internships are offered by multiple businesses throughout Rockford. And on the website noted at the bottom of this card is where you can find out those internships in different areas like web designer, app developer, IT manager, network specialist, IT specialist. And we have tons of opportunities each semester coming in. And I recommend while you're in college, taking your degree, finishing your degree or your certificate or your class or whatever it is you're here for, to take advantage of internships. Because interns,
If you don't have like a QR code reader, how would you
all this does is that QR code actually goes to a website. That's all it does. It goes to a website, so it's no big deal. It's if you did want to type in myRC.org. Okay. But anyway, the internships are a good resume builder for you and also good experience for you. And a lot of internships are paid now. They used to be all unpaid, but a lot of them are paid now. And so again, we have a number come across my desk. I put them immediately on the website. And also, if you go to the website, there's a link to our Facebook and Twitter. I recommend you following those two entities, because as soon as a job is posted, if you're following our Facebook and Twitter, then you're going to be notified on your phone about those posts, or on your laptop or desktop or tablet, and then you can apply to it immediately. And so they come through all the time. Like in the last week, we've had 3 or 4 come in just the last week of before school started. And so I just had one come across Monday that I believe a student's already applied for, which was a WordPress job for $500, and they're going to be doing that. A grant was created for it. And then we have another opportunity for multiple students. If you're interested in communication, public relation, office technology at all, Transform Rockford is looking for multiple interns at their downtown office to do a number of different things, get your hands in a number of different. And what would be cool about that internship is you'd rub shoulders with a lot of IT folks, a lot of folks in the IT market, and a lot of folks in the city of Rockford and the state of Illinois as far as jobs go. So I've been involved with Transform Rockford about the last year and a half with websites, social media, and we've had 6 interns go through. Personally, I have, and all 6 of them I've lost in 3 months with full-time jobs, which is a good thing. They've all got full-time jobs in other places, so it's a good jumping point for you. And so if you are interested, that's already posted on my RBC about that internship. It's constantly moving and growing all the time, so you can apply anytime to that. And it's just kind of all around, do whatever you need to do type of internship. And so if you're interested, let me know and I will put you on my list. And what I've been doing, like I did with that WordPress job, is if it's something that if it's something that folks want pretty immediate like that one, I'll just email it to all my students first. And Eric, our other teacher here on campus, he will also email his students as well. And Stephanie and Jim, we email ours internally first. And if there's no bites there, if nobody wants it or wants that type of job, then we post on the website and social media. That's for those jobs that are like right now, somebody wants somebody yesterday type thing. So before other people see it and have access to it, you guys get first bids. So that's good. So why are you taking the course? Go ahead and fill that information out. And I will put the information up here for that one, which right now degree is beating out general knowledge. Then we got work required and other. And so pretty common for this class, degree beats out for the most part. Finish up your degree, and then general knowledge second, and other last. And so it's a really fun course. And one thing, since you've told me a little bit about yourself as far as why you're taking the class, I'll tell you a little bit about myself. Background wise, I started out years ago, believe it or not, as a associate youth pastor for about 8 years. I have a theology degree from Central Bible College in Springfield, Missouri. And then during that time, I was working for a company that I was a graphic designer my last year of college. And they sent me to school to complete a graphic design degree. And I went ahead and I was interested in programming, so I did a programming degree as well and got my master's. But anyway, there's a gentleman there by the name of Dudley Moore. He taught a Photoshop class. And Dudley would spend the whole session working on his fishing lure catalog that he released each year. And that's all he did, basically. I mean, he did some work, but pretty much he just worked on his catalog. And so I remember one time he was doing a book tour. The catalog was published. He had to do a book tour. he asked me if I wouldn't mind subbing for him, coming in just filling in, helping out. So sure, so I did, and I fell in love with teaching during that time, and changed my whole outlook on career, and went ahead and got my teacher certificate. And in 2000, I got a call from Rockford Christian School. The superintendent called me. I didn't know him from Adam, and he wanted a computer science teacher, kind of over their whole curriculum. So I came on board and offered Visual Basic, C++, photography, Photoshop. They already had media there, and PC repair. Those are courses we offered. I taught there for about 5-6 years. During that time, I got to know Chuck Nelson, which over our division. He still teaches here part-time. He's retired, but they had a full-time position post here. And I taught both for about 5 years. And then I stepped down from Rockford Christian thinking I would just have one job like a normal person for a while. And that lasted for about 6 months. And I got a call from a gentleman from Aqua Aerobic Systems in town. It's actually over off of Forest Hills and Alpine, over in that area. I didn't even know it existed, and they needed somebody to program, a programmer to convert an Access database to a Windows app, and that was 6 years ago. I'm still there helping them out during the day, and I teach here at night. I've taught here at night for 17 years now, and usually reach students here that maybe work full-time during the day, or you have other responsibilities during the day, and it fits your schedule, and seems to work out. And I enjoy teaching this class. It's been a great experience, and great to see students that went on to get a good career, and be able to raise their family and make a good living. And so that's always rewarding. And you'll find this out about me. I do not only want you to learn here about networking, but also I'm concerned about your future as far as your employment, and that you've got good aspects ahead of you as far as employment in this area. And I'll try everything I can do to help you connect with local employers to get a job. That's what I love to do. And so myself and a couple others were behind the myrbc.org website, the card I passed out, and connecting students with employers, and also sharing success stories on the website of students that have went to school here and went on to be web developers, PHP programmers, mobile app developers, all around the local area and still here in Rockford, and that's pretty exciting. Because a lot of times for IT and for programming, you have to travel up north a little bit, like near Madison, which isn't that far, but there's still quite a few jobs, believe it or not, in the programming area in this area. Like Ingersoll is an example. One of my students is in an intern, just started last semester. He's now working, I talked to him last night because I had him for one of my classes. He's now working on a 3D product. It's a 3D model he's working on for Ingersoll, and he's creating a whole bunch of different programs for them. And I mean, Ingersoll is a pretty awesome company. I mean, if you ever get a chance, and I'm going to try to do it this semester, get a tour of Ingersoll, because one of the things they have there is they built the world's largest telescope that's now being moved to the island of Maui, and it's like in a million pieces, and they got to ship it all separate. But it's been around a long time. A lot of German mathematicians work there, and German mathematicians know their math. And most of the people that work there in IT have their master's degree in math. And he was telling me about it yesterday, how all the stuff he's learning about math. He said, I need to take some more math. He goes, I don't have enough math. And but he's really enjoying it, and he's excited about his future. And once he graduates, they're already talking about offering him a full-time job. It's awesome. He's getting paid pretty good as an intern, and he just loves it. And he fits well with the culture. And so they actually approached us, Ingersoll did, wanted somebody to fit their culture and what they needed. I looked around at the students we had that semester, which was last semester. I asked them to, personally, I asked them to apply for it. I said, he goes, well, I don't know if I can do that. And I said, well, yeah, I think you can. So sure enough, he went through like 6 interviews. The 7th interview, they said, yeah, I think you're the one. And he's like, whoo, that was stressful. And he goes, but they pay him well, they treat him well, and they just let him learn as much as he can, and they're more than willing to show him. So it's really pretty awesome. So that's the type of opportunities I, as a teacher, want to give you. And so just so you know where I'm coming from. So PCT110 introduction. Let me switch over here to the class RBC Eagle. I want to make sure everybody is logged into Eagle. If you're not logged into Eagle, before you leave tonight, which I'm not going to keep you real long, I'd like you to stop by up here so I can make sure you get in. We'll figure out what's going on. If you can't get in right now, look at your neighbor's screen, or you can look on the overhead. I'm just going to give you a general navigation overview of the site and how it works. Pretty straightforward. At the top of the site here is contact information, the day and time we meet in here. This is where it says call or text here. You can definitely do that. It is a Google phone. It doesn't go to, it's not my cell number, okay? It is a Google phone, but it does go right to my phone, my real phone. And there's my email address. General course navigation helps. This link here, I'll go and click on it. Basically, get you started with navigation like it's designed around what's called modules, like a lot of learning management systems are. Each week is made up of one module, and in that module has multiple reading stuff, assignments, quizzes, stuff like that. Each module has a number of pages. Each page must be completed before you go to the next. A new module, like a new week, cannot be started until all your assignments for the prior week are completed. You have completed a week's module when you complete or reach the you have completed week's modules page. The main pages for the site are home, announcements, module, which shows you all the modules, which I'll show you in just a second. Syllabus, which shows you all the assignments from now to the end of the semester and their due dates, and grades, allowing you to access your grades. So let me click on starting with home, which is the first page you go to. It shows you a list of all the weeks, which I try to pick a graphic that matches what we're going over that week lab-wise. Okay, so like next week is the lab where you guys create a diagram of a local area network. Week 3 is going over OSI, which is a model we use in networking. Week 4 is going over building a Cat5 straight and crossover cable. Week 5, TCP protocols. Week 6, topologies. Week 7, hardware. Week 8, remote access. You'll do a remote lab there where you'll use a remote access program to remote into each other, and that's what you'll do for the lab. Week 9, wireless. Week 10, we explore how to set up users on multiple network operating systems, Windows, Mac, and Linux. Week 11, you do a remote PC exercise. Week 12, troubleshooting. Week 13, basic networking. And then 14 and 15 is your final presentation, which we'll go over in just a second. Announcements, I'll put in here each week, at the beginning of the week, some about that week, what we're going over, what the lab's going to be. Modules gives you a global view of all the modules from course documents from week 1 all the way down to week 15. Grades, pulls up your grades. And the one module here that, let me exit out of this. I want to turn on here that's not on right now. I just saw. Let me go here. I'll turn it on here. I want to drag up one of these. I noticed it's not turned on. I think it's this one. Yeah, that's the one I want turned on. The syllabus gives you a view of everything that's due along with the due date. And if you click on the syllabus, you might have to refresh your page because I just turned it on. The syllabus gives you a list of due date and details of that due date. And what's nice about this view is when you click on a link, like this week is Getting Started and About Me. When you click on one of these links, it takes you right to that assignment, which is nice. And it gives you whatever points are possible. So I definitely would recommend the syllabus view just to kind of see what's coming up. So that's course navigation, course success. Oh, let me see if that's turned. That looks like that's not turned on. So that's why I do this in student mode. Sometimes these things get turned or turned off. Boom. That's what it was. So if you want to refresh your page and try that again, if you're following along with me here, hopefully you should see that success thing now, course success. There we go. So course success, in order to succeed in the course, please follow the below each week. Read the chapter for the week before coming to class. So read chapter 1 before next Thursday. Participate in class discussion and labs. Complete all assignments by due date and silence your cell phone while in class. That's it. As far as course success. RBC Eagle Canvas tutorial. If you're brand new to RBC and you've never taken a course here or used Eagle before, which is what we use for our platform for our course here, for assignments and grading, I would suggest clicking on that link and going through whatever tutorials you want or you need help with. Say how to participate in discussion, how to upload assignments, stuff like that. Syllabus just gives a link to the syllabus you can read outside of class. Live chat, I will click on that one. So if it's, say, I don't know, Sunday afternoon and you're doing your work and you had a question about something, here's where you could enter in your name, class name, course name, and question. Send it, and it's going to go right to my phone to answer it. Course documents takes you to the course documents and modules, which we already looked at. And then finally, course discussion before we go to week 1. And oh, there you go, it's turned off too. That's why I do it in student mode, because at least I get to see all the stuff that's turned off. All right, so let's see, which one was that? Course discussion. Let's go back to modules. And it's probably going to be down here in discussions, not in modules. Right there. All right, now let's try that again, see if that works. That work for you once you refresh your page, hopefully. All right, let's see here if it does. Course discussion, yes, we're in. Post here questions concerning the course and, just as important, non-course related questions. In addition, answer questions that your course peers have. Should be yours to you. So what this area is for basically is for you guys to create a community. You're only here once a week. So if you have questions about, hey, I'm getting ready to buy a new phone. Anybody bought one recently? Anybody suggestions? Getting ready to buy a new laptop. Getting ready to, buy memory for my computer. Whatever. It could be about politics. It could be about, anything that you're thinking about. Basically, it's on your mind. Only rule is to be nice to each other, be gentlemen and ladies to each other, and you're good to go. And But what I like to stay out of this area as much as possible to where you guys can post questions, discussion, and then I will pop in every once in a while just to make sure everything's okay. And not only that, but also make sure if there's any questions lingering out there that nobody's answered. This is your guys' time to answer each other's questions and help each other out and hopefully build, an online type of community since we only do meet here once a week. Does that make sense? So questions about discussion. Again, if you just check it once a day, that'd be awesome. For some of you, you might be the resident person on phones or on, tablets or on whatever technology, or you might have advice on politics or advice on cooking a good, I don't know, Italian dinner or something. I don't know, putting a good recipe out there or a good movie. There you go, good movie review or whatever. We were talking earlier about the Black Hat movie coming out, that we're going to try to watch that this weekend. So, some movie reviews or something that you guys want to post on there. So anything that's related to you and related to your life, you can post here and reply to people's posts. But it's your area. So you guys I'll stay out of it and it's all yours. All right. So that's the course discussion. Now I want to jump right into week 1 and week 2 content, and then we're going to be done. So let me show you week 1. I'm going to click on week 1, and you'll notice it takes me to my week 1 module, which I just noticed one of the modules or one of the week's assignments is turned off. So I'm going to turn that on. Boom. Research paper topic was turned off. All right. And let's go back. I'm going to go back to week 1. And we should have 4 items in week 1. Yes, there we go. So you should have task, podcast, about me, and research paper topic in week 1. On the task, generally each week we'll have a task document that goes over what we're doing that week. This week it's making sure you purchase your textbook if you haven't done so already. We already found out bookstores sold out. Hopefully you got the ISBN from somebody around you. Post and reply to the About Me that we'll look at in just a second. Well, some of you have already done that. Read the syllabus on your own. Read chapter 1 before next Thursday. And subscribe to the course podcast in iTunes U. By clicking on this link, it'll take you there how to do that. You do need to download iTunes for that, and it shows you how to do that. It's a free software you can download. Everything that is recorded, by the way, is posted in 2 places. One in YouTube, and then I embed it where it says to be posted here. That TBP area is going to be replaced with what you're hearing and watching now by tonight. And then I'll email you and tell you it's up there. And what I always tell students is that way you don't have to feverishly write stuff down if you don't want to. Or if you do write stuff down, I say look at your watch on your phone or on your watch, which most people don't have anymore, and write down a time. So say we start at 7:30, it's 8 o'clock, you write down 30 minutes. You write down 30. You want to go over that again later. You can forward fast in the podcast to 30 minutes in and watch it for 10 minutes and you're done. You don't have to watch the whole thing. All right, so and then the other place I post it is iTunes U, which I do challenge you this week to play around with iTunes U. Besides just subscribing to our course, there's tons of other universities and colleges that offer free courses you can subscribe to. And the way I suggest to students to use iTunes U is, say you're thinking about possibly, or you're interested in possibly a certain subject matter. Like say, I don't know, let's say you're interested in quantum physics. You've always been interested in that. You've been kind of like, yeah, it'd be cool to go down and, go to some college that teaches that and get my degree in quantum physics. Well, you can search quantum physics, find a course on iTunes U, like MIT has one in quantum physics, Harvard, quantum physics, Stanford. And so anyway, you can actually subscribe to these courses with all the podcasts already in there for the entire semester, mostly video podcasts. And you can watch a number of the podcasts and realize real quick if you want to go through quantum physics, if you want to finish that, if you want to pursue that without having to spend a dime. The other flip side of iTunes U you can do is, while you're on campus, you have other courses you need help with. like tutoring, it's like your own built-in tutoring basically, because you could, if you're having a problem with algebra, search for algebra in iTunes U, find an algebra course you really like how the teacher teaches it, and subscribe to it. Boom, you got an instant tutor there that you can watch anytime you want to. And it's totally free. There's over 1,000 colleges and universities on iTunes U. Yes?
So iTunes U is a part of iTunes?
It is a part of iTunes. It's a part of iTunes, yes. And most people don't know about it. And Apple does not really advertise it much. But I won't spend a lot of time on it, but it's well worth you going into this week, since you don't have a lot to do, spending time on iTunes U, subscribing to other courses, subscribing to other podcasts out there on iTunes that's of interest, like technical podcasts, things of that nature. In fact, I'll just show you our class, or our college and our class real quick. I'll go back to that link to show you, because some of you might have never been to iTunes U, you've never seen it. So I'll just show you real quick what it looks like, and you can just watch if you want to. And then when you get home tonight and tomorrow and Saturday, Sunday, you can go through the steps and subscribe to it. But let me just show you real quick what it looks like when it launches. It's basically opening up from a link from our website. And here's our iTunes U presence on iTunes. And you'll notice up here at the top some courses, one of them being our course here, PCT110. And as podcasts come in, they'll be added. But you guys just click the subscribe button. Once you click the subscribe button, there's a My iTunes area up here that you now have podcasts being downloaded. The latest podcast is what it downloads for you. Now let me just show you some more of iTunes on iTunes U. So here's iTunes U homepage. You'll notice it's got new and notable. So we've got Oxford, we've got University of Sheffield, we've got UNCTV, University of Chicago, we've got Princeton, we've got MIT on Science Out Loud, we've got Digital Tools from Cambridge, Shorts, Stanford. So a number of these are top courses that are new and notable podcasts that are getting big hits right now from students. Down here is top collections, top hit collections of the top hit podcasts that people are downloading. Because you imagine some of these colleges, universities have 300 students in one course. And they have one podcast per course. And there are 300 students downloading that podcast before they leave. Literally before they leave that set, right after they leave that session, some student's job is at the end of the session to take the video from the professor that they just took and upload it to iTunes U. And so they can be watching this session in between classes, studying for their next test or whatever the case may be. Let me show you the global view of universities and colleges that are available on iTunes U. Here's a list of all of them right here. When we jumped on board in 2006, there was around 800. I believe there's over 1,000 now available. And here we are down here, Rock Valley College, right in here. If there's a new one on here, they used to put in the word new next to it. Here's one, Canadian Flight Center is a new one. I like to every once in a while go in there and just look at the new ones to see what they've got in store, what they have on their plate. And it looks like they have one category in here. And they have one podcast so far. So they just started. So that's podcast. And then, like I said, if we go to, like, say, let's pick a big one here. Let's pick MIT. We'll go there. Everybody's heard of MIT before, right? And so MIT's got tons of what's called open courses. Let's go into one on mathematical statistics, statistical mathematics. This is 26 podcasts so far on this one. And these are all video podcasts, about an hour and a half a piece, hour and 20 some a piece. And you can subscribe to it and begin using it. This one's on statistical mathematics, is a probabilistic approach to equilibrium properties of large numbers of degrees of freedom. In this 2-semester course, basic principles are examined. Topics include thermodynamics, probability theory, kinetic theory, classical statistical mechanics, interacting systems, quantum statistical mechanics, and identical particles. So I know everybody's going to be subscribing to that this semester and learning about statistical mechanics 1 from MIT. And so, that's awesome though. You could, if you wanted to, you could literally learn these courses as if you were a student there at no cost. So let me do some more stuff here. Let me show you one more thing. We'll talk about technology. I'm going to search in here in the upper right corner. I'm just typing in technology in general as a general search term to see what we find. We knew we'd find a lot of iTunes U stuff, iTunes U episodes on technology, Stanford. But then let's keep going down. Podcast episodes. If I go to all podcast, it'll give me some of the top podcasts right now that are buzzing with the term technology. And TED is one of them, the TED Hour. If you've ever watched TED videos, that's a pretty hot one, pretty hot topic, pretty hot podcast. The other one, let's go into, we can go up here to the top, and I want to go to iTunes Store. And you guys are probably familiar with music and movies on iTunes, right? Probably not anything else. But I'm going to go to the iTunes Store, and I'm going to go down here and look at the categories for iTunes, not iTunes U, I want the iTunes Store. I want the categories for podcast. And I want to choose, let's see here. Let's go with, I'm just going to search a term or a podcast I already know. Leo Laporte. All right, I'm seeing what category he's in here. Let's see. Leo's in technology, tech news. There we go. So I like to watch tech news and listen to tech news, right? Everybody in here probably has a little geek in you, right? Or you wouldn't be here. So if you search tech news or go by the category of tech news in iTunes, there's a couple podcasts. If you want to jot this down, you can. That I would recommend that I listen to all the time. Leo Laporte is one I listen to. He has one called Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. This is a audio podcast. They're generally pretty long, but he goes over everything new that week in technology. Usually interviews a couple people, real informative on just general technology. The other one is Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. No, that's the same one. Leo Laporte, Tech Guy, same one. Let's see here. There's another one down here. If I can find her in this list, would be, I already know the name of it. It's Geek Beat. I listen to this one every day. And this is a fun one too. Geek Beat by Callie Lewis, and it's under the category of tech news as well. And they have, let's see here. Let's go with back there. Oh, This Week in Tech. We already went over that one. Let's go down further here. Geek Beat. Let's see what the name of that one is technically, because they have 3 or 4 of them. Yeah, let's do that one there. Okay, Geekbeat TV. This one's all video. These are really short. Okay, like today, January 15th, there's um, 4 podcasts out, all about 5 or 6 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes. One on Xano brings in nano drone. Revolve Robotics shows Kaboo at CS 2015. Sphero, the robot, at CES 2015. Pioneer talks smart car stereos, and that's just today. And each one of them about 5-6 minutes in length, and they're real short bites. Recommend subscribing to that one. And once you subscribe to it, you just hit subscribe one time. And once you subscribe to your podcast, you then have podcasts show up in your podcast section here. And you can download, if one's not already downloaded for you already, let me go back to mine again. If one's not already downloaded for you already, you can just click on the link in the podcast. Like I'll click on this one. Go to feed. And so say if there's one I've not downloaded, like this one right here. Gary Shapiro joins us at close out at CES 2015. I can click this little button here, this little cloud button, and it'll download that podcast for me. So anyway, I recommend doing that this week, subscribing to some of the podcasts I mentioned. Leo Laporte, The Tech Guy, Geek Beat. Those are 2 really, really good podcasts that you would definitely like. All right, so do that. Questions on iTunes U or iTunes. So play with it. You'll enjoy it, definitely. All right, let's go back to the next one, which was about me. After this, should be about me. And some of you have already done this one. You're going to copy the below questions and reply. You'll paste the questions below and answer them. So name you go by, favorite food, favorite movie, hobbies, and why you're taking the class. And then I want you to reply to at least 2 other people in the class or more. You can do more than that. They kind of get to know each other. And so a lot of good replies and posts in here already I've been reading earlier. So you guys already got a good start here. Research paper topic. Let's go over that. You got a couple weeks before this is due. And it's going to be due on a week from this Sunday. You're going to choose a research paper topic from the link we'll look at in a second. You can also choose a topic. At the very bottom, there's a line that says Other. So if there's a topic not on the list, nothing on the list you really desire to do a research on, you can choose something other that has to do with networking and then submit it by January 25th at 11:59. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that research paper topic link. And so what you're going to do the last 2 weeks of class, we will split it up the last 2 weeks to where you have about 10 minutes apiece to present a topic of your choosing. You'll also do a research paper. The 10-minute presentation can be done on PowerPoint, on whiteboard. I had a student 2 semesters ago that did his from home because it is an option. You can use Skype or FaceTime and do yours from home, which is kind of cool. Because in IT, you're always going to be using something like that. And so it's good to get to know how to use it. And, hey, you don't have to come to campus. You can do it from home and do your final presentation. But let's talk about the research paper topic real quick. I put in here a little blurb at the top that says success in your career will depend greatly upon your written and communication skills. Our school recognizes the need for students to develop proficiency in these skills and requires all students submit a research paper and provide an oral presentation in each class in this department. Format is 5 to 7 pages, excluding illustration and bibliography. Margins, 1 all around except for the top, 1.5. Double space except for quotes, 10 to 12 point font, Times New Roman or Courier. Illustrations are welcome if of good quality, and cover sheets optional. You don't need to use a binder because you'll submit this in weeks 14 and 15 as an assignment, okay? Topics we'll look at in just a second. Any attributions you have, give credit for. Citing sources, give credit for. I give a link here to the MLA documentation. If it's been a while since you've done a research paper, I actually devote mid-semester a part of the session on helping you get started with your research paper, give you some pointers. So let's look at some format of the presentation, but before we do that, let's look at the goals. So the goals of this is to display your ability to research and deliver information as a career skill. Creative presentation ideas are welcome. Use your imagination. So you can do video outside of class. Come up here and go, I did my presentation on network security or setting up a Wi-Fi network maybe, and watch this video I created. We watch the video you created. You come back and say, is there any questions? Pretty easy, right? Now 10 minutes, most students go, well, that's a long time. It's really not a long time. About 10 to 12 slides, and that's about it. And probably only about a quarter of your research paper will be able to be presented in 10 minutes. And so, a very short amount of time. Visual aids are important, 10 to 15 minutes already mentioned. You can use a whiteboard, you can use video, hands-on stuff if you want to. Handouts are acceptable if lasting value. Try to create something the class can use. I always tell students if you would throw it in the trash can, don't create it for us to use. Okay? So that's what you want to kind of use. An example of a good one I've had is a student did this on how to set up a Wi-Fi network and had a one-page handout, color handout on the 3 different types of ways you can set one up, steps 1, 2, 3, and with the different security that you can choose. And it was helpful. It was like a step-by-step thing how to set up a Wi-Fi network. Topics, you'll base your presentation on your research paper topic, not reading it verbatim, so you're just going to base it on there. And again, I'll help you mid-semester on kind of doing that if you've been a while since you've given a presentation. So let's go ahead and go over the suggested paper topics and presentation topics. Apple Talk and Macintosh. Now, some of these topics, if not a lot of them, you might not have ever heard of. That's fine. That's why God created Google. You can Google these terms and figure out what in the world is this. Okay? So don't feel bad about doing that. Okay? It's week 1. So Apple Talk and Macintosh networking, copper network cabling, email protocols, fiber optic cable data cabling, IBM SNA, ISDN DSL cable modem, malicious code, multicasting, NetBayou, network management, network hardware, networking with Windows, Novell NetWare, OS2, point-to-point protocol, remote access, server hardware, TCP/IP, the internet, token ring, Usenet, VPNs, wireless networking, and then the elective topic at the bottom is something that anything that's to do with networking in general, I will approve. One of the most creative ones recently in the last year and a half, 2 years was a student did his on networking with social media. How social media is used today in networking and how is it used. And when I did his paper and presentation, that was pretty interesting. And so you have a couple weeks to play with that. Questions on your research paper topic that you'll choose here in a couple weeks. And this is what I recommend if it helps you out some. Pick a topic once you Google and figure out what it is. Pick a topic that is really of interest to you, but you know very little about, but it sounds really interesting. Be saying, well, yeah, I'll be really interested in that. Finding out more about that. Okay, might be malicious code, or might be fiber optic, or might be email port, whatever it is. Once you read up on it a little bit and figure out what it's about by researching it a little bit on the web, that's the one I want you to choose. So I don't want you to choose one you know a little or a lot about even. I want you to choose one you know hardly anything about, but it really sounds interesting. Does that make sense? Because when you do that, it's going to help you in your research, because you're going to want to find out more about it because you're interested in it, number one. So if any of these in the list does not interest you, but you're on the web and you're searching and you come across something that deals with networking that's maybe a new technology or maybe an older technology just not on the list, and you're like, oh, that'd be cool. I'd like to do that. That would definitely fit right in to what I'm wanting you to choose. So you're not bound to this list, but I definitely want you to look at this list to go over it, see if there's any in there that's interested of you. If it's not, then keep doing your own research. You got a couple weeks. You could ask around people maybe you know at work or your family and friends on some topics that they've been looking at or technologies they've been looking at or interested in. And if it has to do with networking, definitely will be approved. Sound good? Questions on that? Okay. So, and don't worry about this. Is another thing. Question with a class aside, a lot of times students go, "What if mine's the same as my neighbor's?" You're going to present it differently, and your research paper is always different as well. Never had two topics be the same research paper and same presentation. If they are, something going on there. Okay. Week 2, my voice is getting ready to go, so I'm going to shut up here in a second. Week 2, we're going to go over Chapter 1, Introduction to Networking. I do want to cover in week 2 two things. One is, the review questions and the quiz. So let me click on review questions in week 2. And here's what it is. Each week, at the end of your chapters reading, there is review questions. All I need you to do is, after you're reading, go through the review questions, answer them, do them outside of Eagle in like Notepad or Word or whatever you want to do them on. Once you finish answering all of them, then copy and paste them into the upload, all right, of that week's assignment. And that's it. We're 20 points. Okay? Questions on review questions. Again, it's at the back of each chapter has review questions. And just give me the number of the question and the answer. That's it. So if it's an ABC thing, it'll be 1A, 2B, 3C, so on and so forth. The quiz, you have no time limit. It's open book. I do suggest in this order of how to do your assignments each week, because you'll generally have reading, review questions, and quiz every week. So this is how I suggest you do it. Do your reading first, review questions second, quiz last. Because if you do it, like say you do, I don't know, quiz first, you're going to be forced back in a book. You can do it that way. I've had students do it that way. And then review questions second. If you want to do it that way, you can, but I recommend the reading, then review questions, then quiz. Because when you do the quiz, if you come across a question like, I don't know exactly where, I know I read that, but I don't know, you have an idea of where it's at, type of thing, if you've read the topic and the subject. You have 3, it says here allowed attempts 3. I like to call it, you have 3 opportunities to take this quiz, and you get the best score out of the 3. All right. Now, if you want to say you get, I don't know, this has 18 questions in it. Say you get 16 out of 18, you're like, good enough for me. You don't need to take 2 and 3. All right. The other thing I want to make mention about a quiz is when you click on the take the quiz button, you can, I'll go and click on mine to show you. You don't have to do it. I'll show you what it looks like. So say the phone rings, okay, and you go down here at the bottom, and you, right now I've not done anything, so it's not going to save it. Let me go ahead and come up here and select something here. All right, and right now it says quiz saved at 8:39. Did you see that? They just updated this, by the way. If you've had Eagle before, they had like a little save button before. What I want to show you this was, if you go back out now, totally go out of this, and come back to the quiz after your phone call. Let me click on it here. It says resume quiz now. See that? So that's nice. But you do have to answer at least one question, and then it saves it. And then if it times out or you close out the session or whatever you do, that's going to be saved. Yes?
How often does it save each question?
It's like seconds.
Okay.
Yeah, like each time you click something, I think it's programmed to whenever you click something, it saves it right after that, if I'm not mistaken. So, because I just clicked that once. Yes.
What if you go into the quiz and then leave the quiz without answering the question?
With answering any questions?
Yeah.
Good question. I don't think it's assigned as an attempt. I don't believe. I might be wrong though. I don't think it should be. But that's a good question because you could actually look at them like that, get all the answers, and then come back an hour later. Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. You might do that for me and tell me what happens when you go back out.
That's
If it,
actually what one of my other instructors suggested, that he has open book quizzes
Yeah.
set up like this, is to open the quiz
Uh-huh.
and either print it out or just leave it open,
oh,
and then you can
Yeah.
research all your questions, write them
Yeah,
down,
if you
and then
got-
come back and answer it. 'Cause they
exactly.
have
Yeah, you can do it however you want to. I don't think there's no wrong way to do it. So,
Right.
but I do know, if you're say 3/4 of the way down, some students are always fearful of, oh, what if my computer crashes or I have to exit out or whatever. It does save it, so that's a good thing.
I don't see the quizzes around here. Is it?
If you go to modules on the left side of your browser,
Oh, okay.
click on modules, and then go down to week 2, where it says week 2, chapter 01, and introduction to networking. It looks like a bullseye for the icon. It's the very last one on week 2.
Oh, okay.
Click on that, and then you should see it. Okay, well, that concludes Introduction to PCT110. If you do have any issues with anything or questions about anything, whether in accessing Eagle or anything else, couple last things, make sure you read chapter 1 before next Thursday. If you didn't get a textbook yet, bookstores sold out, so get an ISBN from somebody before you leave so you can purchase one through Amazon or something. And look forward to a great semester, and look forward to getting to know each and every one of you more. And it's going to be fun. Networking security or networking essentials on how to build a LAN and how to successfully manage a LAN. So let's have a great semester. We're all done.